Let's say you notice a child who looks worried. What's wrong, you ask? And she shakes her head and says, well, I'm not ready for retirement. I don't have a pension plan. If you heard this from a little girl, you'd tell her, you're too young to worry about such things. When the time comes, you'll know what to do. I think we adults could take the same advice. How many sleepless nights do we spend worrying about deadlines, about health crises, real or imagined, the money in our bank accounts or lack thereof, or the coronavirus? How many of us are worried about things over which we really have no control? What if I told you we weren't meant to carry such heavy burdens? Now, no one has to remind you the high cost of anxiety, but I will anyway. Worry divides the mind. The biblical word for worry, merimnao, is a compound of two Greek words, merizo, which means to divide, and nous, which means the mind. Anxiety divides the mind. It splits our energy between today's priorities and tomorrow's problems. Part of our mind is on the now, the rest is on the not yet. The result, half-minded living. That's not the only result. From a medical standpoint, worry might not be a disease, but boy, it sure does cause them. Worry is a known contributor to high blood pressure, heart trouble, blindness, migraine headaches, thyroid malfunctions, and a host of stomach disorders. And that's just the start. Worry is an expensive habit. Of course, it might be worth it if it worked, but it doesn't. Our frets are futile. Jesus himself said, so I tell you, don't worry about the food or drink you need to live, or about the clothes you need for your body. Life is more than food. The body is more than clothes. Look at the birds of the air. They don't plant or harvest or store food in barns, but your heavenly Father feeds them. And you know that you're worth much more than the birds. You cannot add any time to your life by worrying about it. Worry has never brightened a day. It's never solved a problem, never stopped a pandemic, never cured a disease, never put food on the table. So how do we deal with this burden of worry? Well, you might try what one fella did. He worried so much that he decided to hire somebody to do his worrying for him. And he found a man who agreed to be a hired worrier for a salary of $200,000 a year. After the man accepted the job, his first question to his boss was, where are you going to get $200,000 a year? To which the man responded, that's your worry. Well, worrying is one job you can't farm out. But you know what? You can overcome it. You can overcome it. And there's no better place to begin than in verse 2 of Psalm 23, the beloved shepherd's psalm. He leads me beside the still waters, David declares. And in case we miss the point, he repeats the phrase in the next verse. He leads me in paths of righteousness. He leads us. He shows us what we need to do, when we need to do it. He tells us what we need to know, when we need to know it. You see, God's help is timely. He helps us in the same way a father gives plane tickets to his family. When I traveled with my kids back when they were small, back in the days that we carried plane tickets, I would carry all our tickets in a satchel. And when the moment came to board the plane, I would stand between the attendant and the child. And as each daughter passed, I would place a ticket in her hand. She, in turn, gave the ticket to the attendant. Each daughter received the ticket in the nick of time. Listen, what I did for my daughters, God does for you.